Ooh.
Welcome. Thank you guys so much for joining us tonight. Hi, Mo.
Hi, girl. You cute. You cute bod. You look nice, girl.
Thank you. I showered. Whoa. It's the first time I'm actually debuting my blonde, isn't it?
Yes. Walk out with your friend.
Went blonde for their birthday.
Yes.
All right, guys. So welcome to another Digital Jamaica live show. First off, apologies for last week. We were tired. Monique and I are operating on 20% gas
battery.
We are tired, okay? And we just couldn't, the energy was just not there to come at you. We couldn't pass it. So we apologize for that. We literally had to slow down because we were just going, right? But it's all good. It's because we have a lot of things happening in the background, and you will hear some more about them as they, things in the pipelines as they come to the fore. You will hear a lot more about this. But it's good to be back with y'all tonight, and it's good to be here with you, Mo.
Aww, I'm so happy to be here as well. I want you to kind of sprinkle and kind of tell them who we're talking to today. So the people, why they have to stick around for our conversation.
So, my friend from Trinidad. Okay, so people have been wondering, Monique.
Yeah.
Is this a Trinidad invasion going on over Digital Jamaica? Because we've been having a series of Trinidadians on the show.
Yeah.
Why? Because LinkedIn. Listen, guys, if you are not on LinkedIn, how many times are we going to tell you that you need to be over there? We have been able to make some really good connections with other people in the tech and digital space. And that's our peoples, right?
Yeah.
And we find that these people have been the ones who are most open to collaborating and talking and sharing. And we want to bring you guys as many perspectives as we can, as many expertise and opinions as we can, so you can get a wholesome view of what is happening in this space, not just in Jamaica, but in the Caribbean as well.
And a lot of the time, a lot of the times we get stuck in our little bubble, and we have to realize that the world is operating outside of Jamaica. Another thing, we have a celebrity in the chat. Big up Terry Carell, who has joined today's Digital Jamaica.
Hi, Terry. Listen, I said it in a post on Keron's page today. We talk about Terry and Kalila all the time. No joke. If you should go on our YouTube channel and pull up any of our videos. If we're looking for examples of people, Jamaicans, doing tech and digital right, especially when it comes to building your personal brand, leveraging your personal brand, storytelling, authenticity, them two ladies. Always talk about them. So thank you, Terry, for being here with us tonight. I know you're here to support your boy, Keron Rose, but thanks for joining us tonight. Love you. Speaking of which, Terry, you know my aunt, Sherilyn D, family connection. So anyways, so our guest. So this is the thing. If you should ask any Jamaican on the street or anywhere about influencer marketing, you're going to get mixed views. People are going to go, foolishness. You know what I mean? And it's not like influencer marketing is new, more. Influencer marketing has been around for a long time.
Yeah.
Yes, I'll tell her hello, Terry, definitely. For a long time. I think the issue that a lot of people are having now is who gets to be an influencer. Yes, because of the internet, anybody can build a brand, develop a community, an active, lively community, and they can then leverage that to earn some money. So I think that's the dynamic that has actually changed. Who gets to be an influencer? And there's no gatekeepers anymore, and I say that all the time as well, which means that it's the audience who decides. pretty much
Who
the
is
audience,
popular.
the kingmaker. Yeah. They're
Yeah.
the kingmaker. And just having really great content and having really good online presence, you know, and building that community
Being
can actually
consistent.
help you earn. Right. So
Mm-hmm,
influencer marketing is not new. And maybe, I'm just saying, maybe people have a problem with somebody looking at me or, you know,
Yeah.
becoming an influencer or thought leader in the space. But that's aside, it's not new, but there's a credibility issue and that we can't ignore. You have bad actors in the space, right? So I came across a headline on LinkedIn and it says, influencer marketing has no credibility in Trinidad and Tobago. And I was like, wow, Keron, that's a bold statement, right?
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
it grabbed me and I was like, oh no.
Yeah.
So Keron, who's our guest tonight, he went on and he shared a story about a client of his who was a restaurant. The food is horrible. They know this. The owner knows this. He knows this. But they decided to invite some influencers in for a soiree. And, you know, of course, they had to give a review or whatever. And every influencer went on about how wonderful the food is and amazing. And he's like, but it's not though. It really isn't. So he was like, what's the point of you doing this if you're not going to be honest? I mean, yes, you're being paid to give an opinion, but for the sake of your own brand, for the reputation of your brand, and for the reputation of the institution as well, because doing something like that can have repercussions for the client, you need to be honest. You need to be upfront. Now, on that note, I want to big up some people. We already shout out Terry, I already shout out Kalila, but there are some small brands, just like Simple Local Life, Lisa from Shakespeare Agency, Ashley Carla, and Pink Peach, aka Vanessa, who is the blogger behind What's New on the Menu, because I see where she gave probably one of the most well-constructed reviews I have seen of a product recently about like a local cup soup brand, and my girl went in, and I mean, she was so detailed, and I understood what she was saying. I was like, yeah, it's true, I get it, understand. So we do have people in the space, big brands and small brands, who are doing correctly. But again, when you have people who, one, don't know what they're doing, because that's a large part of it, and two, only doing it for clout, that's another part of it, then these things can come up. So we see it played out on the international stage. There was a whole Listerine issue. We've seen it played out on the international stage, and unfortunately, it is in the Caribbean influencer space as well. And that's the unfortunate part, is that we are so excited to see Caribbean influencers and thought leaders being, you know, pushed on an international stage and being engaged and making money from this.
Making money, earning.
We are fully behind. And it's like, when things like this happen, it knocks it, right? So tonight we're going to be talking with our special guest, Keron Rose, who is a tech expert, online business coach, and founder of the Droid Island blog. Keron is a thought leader in the space. I will call him a thought leader in the space. He is very provocative in his thoughts and his ideas, and he freely and openly shares. So what I love about him is that he's not right to call out people and spaces and things, and I absolutely love that about him. It's refreshing. So Keron is going to be on here tonight to have a conversation about this and to see what can we do in terms of solutions, because we're not going to just come, okay, it's rubbish, we're solution oriented. So what can we do? How can we help brands, you know, avoid reputational harm and damage in this space? So that's kind of the conversation for today. But before we jump into that, quickly, Monique is going to go into what's new with Digital Jamaica, because we've got some things going on over here.
Well, I've only for excitement are gone. We have our Digital Jamaica podcast, which has listen, I was listening to the episode and it just come in like boom, boom, boom. The conversation was with Trevor Forrest, cybersecurity expert and CEO of 876 Solutions, about the Jam COVID debacle. We've talked about this, we mentioned it on Tech Time, we've talked about it here and shared some of the updates, but we wanted to get the experts to really hash out the details, talk about repercussions and impact, and kind of go beyond the layman understanding and being able to read something third party into getting the words from an expert. If you haven't already checked it out, it's a really good episode. It's so juicy. There's a lot of meat in it. Make sure that you go, you download, you listen, and while you're there, why don't you subscribe? Leave us a review. Let us know your thoughts. Tell us what you thought about the episode. On Sunday as well, we wanted to get a balanced view because as we talked issue, a conversation came up with Samantha Sims, and she's a data privacy lawyer, and she raised a lot of serious questions about even what was happening about motivations from TechCrunch. Sometimes we hear these allegations or thoughts from random people on the internet. But when you hear it from somebody who is within the field, who understands what they're talking about, we kind of stop and listen. Yeah. So we're going to release that conversation on Wednesday. So you can look out for that and kind of get the two sides, right? So the Digital Jamaica live blog is also relaunched. So we have a brand new website, same URL, thedigitaljamaica.com. And the Leo Bashi, and I'm very excited to go on. You see, hey, listen, certain people named Kadia Francis outdid themselves here. Hey, and the new logo, listen, we're going with beer things. But wanting to jump very quickly into some tech news, what's happening right now in the digital scene. Kadia,
Yes.
yes. Yeah.
We're gonna just do two because I think most people are here for the conversation with Keron. So let's
do the first one.
So
yeah, the first one, and then I'll do the second.
So BOJ is set to launch. They're launching the pilot for the CBDC. Although I thought they said they were doing that last December, but okay. This year, and they're forecasting a full rollout next year, right? So in his budget speech, the Honorable Minister Nigel Clark, who is the Minister of Finance in Jamaica, he announced that the GOJ is in the process of acquiring the platform. Now, we don't know what the platform means, but I guess the platform or the system, we don't know, right? To roll out the local digital currency. Now, this would be great, especially for, in Jamaica, we do have a large unbanked population, meaning people who are not in the formal system. They don't have a bank account, no credit union, nothing. They put their money under them bed, right?
Mattress.
And then a mattress, right? And it would allow them to now participate in the formal economy. And it's also good because it would also will help advance the digital economy in terms of digital trade in Jamaica for both vendors and customers. So that's great. Here's the problem though. We don't have a lot of information about what this thing is. Unlike with the Eastern Caribbean currency, the digital currency Dcash, we kind of have an idea of what it is. They're telling us what it is. They've done testing. They've showed us their test results. All of these things are happening. But with the BOJ, we have not been given a lot of information, and that is kind of having people in the tech community going, okay, I mean, we want to talk about this because this is amazing, but give us something to work with. Yeah. So for instance, with Dcash money, we know that it's going to be a digital wallet. Well, that's one aspect of it. And that there's some enrollment that will be required through the financial institution, and the financial institution will be doing the onboarding process, right? Okay. We also know that they're targeting, again, unbanked population in the Eastern Caribbean. Says I think it's 17. Don't get me wrong. 17 country states, right? And that they're using blockchain technology, right? And that's important to know because in the budget speech, Minister Clark said, oh, it's not cryptocurrency, it's actually real because it's backed by the central bank. And I'm going, but they all use blockchain. So I'm not sure if he understands.
No, you know he doesn't understand. You know
right?
he
And
doesn't understand.
I don't think he really understands what that is,
Yeah.
but that I mean, he's Minister of Finance, not Minister of Tech, but that they're aiming to reduce the use of physical cash by 50% by 2025, and that they're considering cross-border transaction at some point. So we know a little bit, we can get a little bit of meat, something to get excited about, something to actually go back to our community and talk about. But with the BOJ, we don't really know. The only thing we got is that and this is from the governor, Mr. Richard Biles, is that the pilot will run for a couple months and hopefully conclude by about the end of this year. And thereafter, we will be able to publicly launch digital currency early 2020. And that's all I got from GIS. That was literally the quote. Maybe kind of, I guess, somewhat, you know. So that's it.
Maybe this time, maybe that time.
We are unclear as to what this thing is. We're unclear how they're going to roll it out. We're unclear who it's for. I don't know. But yeah, that's pretty much all we can report on that. Money, can you jump on the WePay and then we just move to Keron?
Okay, sure. No, we spoke with WePay a few weeks ago, guys. There is a lot of things happening. So they announced on this show, we got some exclusive tidbits and information that they're going to launch in Jamaica this month. And last week, we talked about a partnership with MTech. I would have mentioned it on Tech Time, etc., to develop a pilot central bank digital currency. Now, that is going to integrate with WePay's regional network, where businesses, micro, small, medium-sized businesses, even individuals can transfer money across the Caribbean and this is another central bank digital currency, a Caribbean-wide central bank digital currency. So not one for the Eastern Caribbean, separate from one for Jamaica, separate from Barbados or Bahamas, one that connects everybody. Yeah.
And so, Island Bell said it. Yeah, it is a cryptocurrency, Island Bell, apparently. Yeah.
Yes. So literally looking at digitizes central banks with the modern regulatory and currency platforms. So a lot of things happening within the space. MTech is a huge wave, a huge force coming out of, I think, New York, and working with Caribbean people for us, by us.
By us. I saw something on Twitter earlier.
Yes.
Ingrid responded to somebody because they were talking about, tech hubs around the place and what's happening. And she's like, okay, well, you're only focusing on the United States, the Caribbean, hello.
Yes.
And the response was, where's the hub in the Caribbean? I was like, WePay. You're not listening to what's happening. But yeah.
And something else that I saw that was really interesting is that they've recruited former BOJ Deputy Governor Livingston Morrison as their chairman of their board of directors. Now, if that don't indicate that they're not here to play, that they're ready to make a match, like I don't know what else you're waiting on to kind of take WePay seriously, because that indicated to me that them ready for business. And I am very hopeful that will help them to overcome a lot of the red tape, a lot of the bureaucracy. I mean, not circumvent, but be able to navigate so that we can really progress, because the world is not waiting on us to figure out how to work out e-payments. They did that years ago. So
Julia Braz, she asked, will this live be saved? Yes, all our lives, you can go and watch the replay on our YouTube channel, shameless plug, Digital Jamaica, or on the blog. So yeah. All right, Monique, are we ready
We
to go
are
into this
ready.
conversation?
Ready.
Right. So we introduced him earlier, but with us tonight, we have a very special guest, as we said before, Keron Rose, tech expert, blogger, tech entrepreneur. He's doing all the things. And he's here because he provokes a conversation on LinkedIn. And we thought this needed ventilation, right?
Yes.
That's my name.
Crowd.
So guys, please welcome Keron Rose to Digital Jamaica. Island Bells tell the people are ready. All right.
What's going on?
Hi,
What's going on?
Keron.
Hello,
Welcome,
hello,
welcome,
hello.
welcome. Would you like to introduce yourself to the people? Although look like your entire massive already here in Keron.
They want to hear the thing. They want us to talk the things them.
Yes.
So my name is Keron Rose. I'm an online business educator from the beautiful island of Trinidad and Tobago. If you are hearing the lovely Canadian accent, it is because I spent pretty much my whole life over there, and I decided that I was fed up with the snow and I would come back and, sip on some nice rum on the beaches of the beautiful island in Trinidad and just relax. And I mean, since I've been out here, it's been a wonderful ride. I came at a very good time. The technology over the past couple of years has really picked up. And it's just made for, being in the Caribbean right now with all of these new opportunities. Thankfully, to all the new technology that is rolling out across the region, it's a very exciting time. And this is why, conversations like this can happen because there's so much happening. There's so much to talk about. If these new advancements don't leave you excited for the opportunities, then I don't know what would.
I don't know what else is, bro. And another shameless plug. Keron sat down to talk to us on our podcast. Coming up in a couple of weeks, that episode will be published. Hey, Kevin Valley. Kevin Valley was also a guest on the show a couple of weeks ago. Hey, Kevin, how you doing? So, Keron, talk to us about that post. Because I know when you go off, you go off, and you went off in that post. So tell us, tell us that story again.
So, I mean, influencer marketing, isn't new, right? It's just that influencer marketing just 9 out of 10 times is never done right? It's for so many different reasons beyond just the people themselves. There's just so many reasons why, and we'll get into that. But that particular post happened because one of my clients, a restaurant, we've had complaints and problems for like a year and change, right? And it's well documented. It's well documented through the management, through staff, through customers. Like it's at the point where they were looking at getting rid of the chef for some time, but due to contractual agreements, they couldn't. So they just wanted to have him ride out his contract, which is done, I think, in like a month or something like that. So relatively quick. And because the clients, they're doing some new initiatives because some new blood has come onto the team, and they're fired up to try to make a splash. They decided that they wanted to do an influencer event where they were going to invite, a bunch of popular people, a bunch of the food bloggers, and just get a bunch of popular people into the space, serve drinks, food, normal stuff, and kind of and give the restaurant a push. Now, when I heard that this was the direction that they were going, I was like, why would you do this now? Like, why not we wait till the new chef and the team come in, right? And that's going to be soon. That's in like a month, 2 months. Wait till the new chef comes in, and let's make this like a welcoming bash to invite the new chef, right? And then invite everybody else. Then invite everybody, right? Like it would have just made like, why are we doing this now when we're trying to, like, it was at a point where we had to temper our marketing efforts because obviously the more we market and the more initiatives we do just gives more exposure to the lack of quality of food.
Yeah.
Right? So it was for the last year, it's been a balancing act. We do enough, but then you don't want to do too much because you're bringing people into a restaurant and that's not delivering, right? That's just going to hurt us a lot faster.
Yeah.
Anywho, the event happens, all right. And I'm just looking at all of the people tagging me because again, I'm just seeing my notifications for a couple of days just blowing up. And I was just waiting to see, who was gonna jump up and say, yo, food was good. It was missing salt. The pesto sauce wasn't the best. Like just something. There was nothing. Everything was magnifique. Now, you could make the argument, right? Because people commented on the post and people could make the argument that were like, well, what if the chef stepped it up that night? Maybe. But when you've been trash for a year and a half, I don't expect you to all of a sudden turn it on.
Yeah.
One night only, right? Like So, I seen that. I seen some of those type of comments, and I'm just like, you know what? Like, there's just no way that nobody found any fault with anything. But then again, it's not just that situation. For the most part, what we see with influencer marketing outside the restaurant industry, like just across the board, just regular. You don't ever get anybody's negative or constructive feedback about a product. And
we're doing a lot of people pleasing.
That's all we ever see. That's all we ever see. But there's deeper issues. Right? So like I remember I was at an event and it was the event was bringing together influencers to talk about different marketing strategies or whatever, right? Yeah. And I remember one of the influencers asked a question and he was like, how can he build a brand, get paid for his reviews, but give constructive feedback? And like, we kind of looked at it like, what kind of question is that? you just give your opinion. What do you mean?
Yeah.
Right? But he came out and he was like, well, yo, they're not paying me for a review. They're paying me to say good things and give it exposure. And therein lies a major part of the problem is that the businesses here are paying you or bringing you to hear your constructive feedback. Mm-hmm. They're paying you to come and give a good review and give us access to your audience.
Right.
So let me start from there. I already know where you guys want to go. Let me start from there.
Well, and I'm glad you told a story because I have seen reviews on Instagram, especially on Instagram, and I'm going, that could not be the same place. That could not be the same place because remove that filter and that place is a mess. So I have seen it myself, but this is the thing, right? Is it that there is a disconnect between, or let me put it another way, is it that influencers feel like they have to give a good review? Like just as you said, the guy felt as if he's being paid to say nice things about this place. And to be quite honest, and again, this is not something that originated with digital influencers. People have been lying through their teeth for forever about products, influencers. And I'm talking about celebrities and TV and radio personalities. They've lied about products. You know what I mean?
Half the basketball players never drank a Coke or Sprite.
Like people are paying me, so I am obligated to kind of not be as harsh or to kind of try to find a way to fix it so it not look so bad. Is that what it is? And let's talk about that and what that says about authenticity, because that's a huge part of influencer marketing.
I think that the issues are exacerbated by the fact that we're so small and our networks, or in terms of the companies and the brands and such that you have access to, the pool is
Pool
so
is
small,
small.
especially when you start thinking of companies who are able to and who are willing to pay to work with influencers. So it's almost like, to me, it come in like a pick me kind of moment. And also, I don't want you to be mad with me. Like, I can't afford for you to not call me back. I like ever.
Yeah, but
So
that's a problem with authenticity, because what
Very
people seem to not understand is that this is about your brand. You
yes,
spend time building this brand. Are you
yeah,
going to make one relationship with one client compromise the brand that you've spent so long building? What about the community? Because first of all, you're not an influencer if you don't have a
without the
community.
community.
So what about the community? And what are you, who do you put above everything? The community or this person you're paying you? And another issue, because we've had several influencers contact us and go, okay, we don't know what to tell them. We don't know. Should we ask for a contract? How much should they be paying? We don't know what to tell them. So there is a knowledge gap in the space as well that I wanted to talk about,
Yeah.
Keron.
yeah,
So so I mean, you guys, there's there's a lot to unpack, right?
yeah,
Yeah.
People, influencers feel that they are obligated to give positive feedback, because at the end of the day, they're trying to turn uh, content creation into a full-time job. They want it to be able to sustain them, right?
Yeah.
You can't sustain yourself if no one's willing to pay you, because God forbid you actually gave your honest opinion, right?
Mhm.
And as Monique, as you said, the pool is already so small, because at the end of the day, we're only so big that, you know, all the big boys all talk to each other. So when one says, yo, we're not, don't deal with him, that's it, right? And being blacklisted is a very real thing. The problem now is that the influencers don't feel like they can stand up on their own and still create a business within their space that doesn't have to rely on just being paid for their opinion and their review.
Yeah.
So, for example, Droid Island, the big part of what I do is educating on smartphone technology, right? So I
yeah,
educate on smartphone technology, which led to selling the actual products themselves, which led to me teaching workshops on how to use your smartphone tech, which also incorporated me able to work with brands like Digicel, B Mobile, Huawei, Samsung, and getting paid, right? Now, because I know for myself, you will never put me in a position to recommend your brand, like just as an ad. I want to partner with you business to business so that we can create an initiative
It.
that aligns with educating our space, right?
yeah,
Ooh, yeah.
So I have people who work with the same brands, but they're getting paid to say, go and download our app. And that's it. And those same companies will never get me. They'll never get me on anything like that. They'll get me on initiatives to educate clients or whatever, right? So if the influencers themselves aren't coming to the table with ideas of how our brands could partner versus you just paying me to be an ad, then you've already boxed yourself into just that and that alone. The only thing you have
Exactly.
to
And
offer
you
now,
said a few things there, Keron, because one thing you said that jumped out at me, but I think it was alignment.
yeah,
There has to be brand alignment.
facts.
I cannot tell you how many times I have seen people, because listen, influencer marketing is basically a different form of brand ambassadorship. Yeah, that's kind of what it is. And I can't tell you how many misalignments I've seen. I've seen people
Oh, Jesus.
doing ads for brands, and I'm going, draws all the time. This is a trend. Right? So alignment has to be there, but alignment has to be there on both sides. And
On
another
both
thing that
sides.
you said too was, you're not just gonna pay me to come say something. We're
yeah,
building a partnership, which
yeah,
means that I have some stake in this thing. Meaning I'm
My
putting my
brand.
brand on the line as a partner because now I have stake. And therein lies another fundamental problem that I brought up earlier. Not knowing what you are doing as an influencer will get you into spaces and places that will compromise you. And
Yes.
that's true for everybody. You will
Correct.
if you're not sure, if you're not on sound footing, if you have not set standards for your brand, right? You will find yourself in very compromising position, and then they can come and tell you anything.
Anything.
And if you can't push back and go, okay, first of all, what we're not going to do is, if
Yeah.
you can't say that because, again, you're being sustained by this and you want the money, you have problems.
Correct.
I think carrying it to the next level as well is understanding business, because a lot of us see this as, oh, I can do this and I can make
Glitz and
some
glam. Glitz and
money.
glam.
It's a quick thing, or it's excitement, or I have a community, and so everybody's doing it. But what you talked about, Kevin, a while ago, you have a specific function and purpose that you fulfill. You offer this. When persons come to your community, they know what they're getting, and that you've created that sort of expectation. You have a business. This is not just a brand, and a brand is very important. It's not a brand. You have a business. And so to me, from the conversation, from what you've been talking about, that's the real distinction. That's what we're talking about. We're trying to get persons out of the mold of, you know, and that photo, because it got 10,000 likes. Mommy, I'm an influencer. Yeah. But more to a space where even if I'm doing I know why I'm doing. Yeah.
It's an aligned business collaboration, but the reality is that not everybody is an entrepreneur, not everybody is a business owner, so they're not going to approach influencer marketing like a business. The most they're willing to do, or the only thing they can offer, is access to my community. And as long as you are selling access, well, they're only going to cut you that check if we give you the product and you say nice things, right?
Yeah.
So if you yourself haven't carved out a niche, if you yourself aren't coming to the table with these brands and saying, look, I'm not going to do no ads. However, this is what we can do, and this is how it solves the problem for your community. And because I am in the same space and everything we're doing is aligned, collectively, we can come together and solve this problem. So when I jump out, you can see Keron partnering with this to do this, right? And it will never look like he's endorsing the brand just blindly, wholly and solely. We are coming together to solve a problem, and I'm only ever going to partner with anybody if the problem and the project we are doing actually solves a problem, right? And if it doesn't, then I'm not going to do it. So so for influencers to start thinking themselves as a business is going to be huge, right? But then businesses themselves also need to be able to accept constructive feedback, because
but Keron, you said it's not just about selling access to your community, except it is selling access to your community. So if you could clarify that for me, when you said it's not about selling access to your community, because the reason why a business would come to an influencer is that they have the attention of a particular target group
what I said was, when influencers, right? If influencers don't treat themselves like a business and align themselves with the right partners, the only thing you have to offer is access to your community, right? However, they're only going to cut you a check if you're saying the things that they want you to tell your community. That's the only way they're going to come out of pocket and give you money. But that now comes down to the influencer and their integrity. Do you value your
Yeah.
community and their opinion? Are you just going to blindly recommend things that you don't even use? Because it happens all the time.
That was what happened with the Listerine thing, that big Listerine influencer scandal that happened a couple years ago. Yeah.
Correct. And it happens every day. When you look at our one of our bigger telecommunications companies, we won't call names, and you look at the ads, the people don't use the products or services. They don't use it, but you're putting your brand on the line, telling everybody, oh, download this, use this, but y'all don't use it.
Yeah. So that's definitely a problem, Keron. Let's kind of switch now to talking about, because you said, you need to treat your brand as a business. And that is something that we've been trying to tell people for the longest while, that you need to actually treat this as a business with formalities. And what happens is a lot of people rush in and they see the Instagram-ness and everything is beautiful and pretty and shiny, and we want to do that, but they have no real concept of what this thing is, or they say, why people doing it and they just want to jump on it because it's cute and it's nice to look at, and then they start gaining traction. A lot of these people with these platforms, there was no plan. They just started getting traction because them post thirst trap pictures. Let's just be real. They post thirst trap and it gets attention and then they blow up. Right? And this is not to disparage people who have a really nice brand, who are models, who have because I know several of them who them sexing every picture, but these are business people. They don't play with their brand. So not to disparage, but you do have the thirst trappers who them take some picture and post it and then sexy so they get a boss. You know what I mean? Yeah. But what I want to now talk about is the business aspect of influencer marketing for the brand. Having the structure in place that this is my business, being clear about what you are offering or what you can offer or what your value is. As I say, Terry said in the chat, what are you offering to people? What are you about? What is your brand about? And being very clear and very secure in that space. So when a business comes to you, or when a potential partnership comes up, you're able to say, these are my terms. This is what I'm willing to do. This is what I'm not willing to do. This is how I want you to pay me, because Wally Pakuna putting a brand on the line for free meals.
Yes.
Wally Pakuna putting a brand on the line because we can post you on our social media pages. But if the social media page was doing that great, you probably would need it done. So Wally Pakuna, I do all this craziness and lying. I would not get no money for it. And that was a whole other conversation. Or again, not being able to properly negotiate your value within this potential partnership, Keron.
Yeah.
That's also another thing, because if somebody comes here and say, yeah, I'm gonna give you $5,000 and I just want you to do some posts, and that's it, and you don't understand how this thing can actually work and how you can actually get more out of the partnership by building long-term partnerships, not just one-off gigs, you're gonna find yourself in problems again.
Yeah, and I mean, I'm here for a long time. I'm not here for the short time. I'm here for the long run, right? And I treat my brand and business like that. So for me, I will always say that, we get in business to solve a problem, right? And if you can create content and if you can educate, and you can do that and solve problems for people, you will always have longevity. So when you get approached to do, random things, right? Do you want to be, somebody who has to keep on creating comical like just content that has no real substance, no real value? You might be a one-hit wonder. Or do you want to be able to position yourselves as a subject matter expert in a particular space, align yourself with the right brands, and be able to continue to work with said brands or invite new brands coming in that see the type of things that you can do, and you can establish a long-term relationship with them. Businesses themselves, like the people behind the brands that are actually reaching out to influencers, need to do a much better job at finding people who align with their mission and not just
back to alignment,
because it goes two ways. If somebody reaches out to me from a brand that I have no idea about or there's no alignment, I'm saying no. You can't just give me money to just jump on and do random things. It won't make no sense. It confuses my audience. The audience loses faith in me, and then I lose my power to influence. So I won't do anything random. But at the same time, as a business, we need more businesses to look at people who align with what they're trying to do and get them on board. And which leads to another issue and why influencer marketing isn't as successful as it could be, is that we have a lot of people who jump into things for the glitz and glam. We don't have enough subject matter experts in spaces. Platform for businesses. We need some confetti. We need some confetti. Let's just throw some confetti.
Keron wanted to join the fun, but
people want to be influenced on the self, but influence yourself to think who is influencer.
When you have
sorry. Yeah, you touch a nerve, Keron. You touch a nerve. That's what that was. You start up something and kill your chips in time.
Listen, when you don't have enough people trying to become subject matter experts in spaces and also building a platform and building a community, it makes businesses trying to align with the right people even harder. And that is why so many of them just say, okay, you know what? We can't find the right person who fits our space. So let's just go find the most popular person we can, throw them some money.
Why, Keron? Why have a part two? Because I have something to say about low-hanging fruits.
Oh, Lord.
I have something to say about low-hanging fruits and lazy marketers.
Let me go and brush up my little baby ear, yeah? Let me
don't know and don't have a proper understanding of what is happening in the space, and then just go pick the people them will look pretty, and the people them will look like them have some numbers, and unbeknownst to them, the numbers are fine. So let's talk about it. Let's talk about, because a lot of it, Keron, you see that thing about alignment, it always comes back there.
Yeah, correct.
Lazy marketing will get you in problems. You will be wasting your money, right? And people that don't align with your brand and can't add any value with for them brand, because the only person that they convinced them was influencer was themselves.
Right.
And you, because you're lazy. And I have a problem with that. First of all, I don't know what our marketers are going off, because they're certainly not going off of data, and they're certainly not going off of industry knowledge, because they don't have none. So me, I have a problem with that too, Keron. That's a part two conversation. But lazy marketing people who only go after the pretty people them and the one them with them phone numbers, and then want to get what the dot get. Want to get what the dot get. That's a whole other conversation altogether.
And you know that it goes into, you know, the lazy
come
marketing.
over me, Lord.
Kadia, you moved from church lady Kadia to country woman.
You
like I felt the shift, and I was like, oh dear Lord Jesus.
And but Kadia, you made a very major point, right? So because marketers don't work off of data, right? Many of the businesses themselves don't actually have their business set up to even collect data, right? So when you decide to hire a bunch of marketers, Do you guys even have an affiliate dashboard set up so you can track which influencers even giving you traction, which influencers even giving you sales? How are you going to
They
have
never do digital marketing at university because our university don't have a digital marketing module in their course.
But
so they don't know nothing about dashboard. They don't know nothing but, and I'm serious. No, this is serious. Our universities, not one of our universities, not UTech, not UA, none of them actually offer a full module in digital marketing. So what you find happen is a lot of these marketers don't have a clue about digital marketing, but because them have one look at Facebook page, I want to look at Instagram page, one with a look at thing, all of a sudden them is expert in digital. Everybody are expert, social media, expert, digital marketing.
Let me give you a story to that, right? Let me give you a story to that point, right? There's a brand here in Trinidad, right? And what they did was they hired a bunch of influencers to promote.
Yeah.
I'll make this story real quick. This brand hired a bunch of influencers, right? When they made all these campaigns, all these posts on social media, one particular influencer jumped up, right, and said, hey, because of her stuff, she was responsible from growing that brand's page from 2,000 to 12,000 people overnight. How on earth could you say that when the brand hired like 10 influencers? Are we talking about Instagram? How can you have no data, you have no proof, right? But then they're putting that into presentations and using that to get other brand deals.
Yeah.
So there's no data that's being used. People are not setting their businesses up to collect data so that they can understand what influencers are actually bringing in the traction. There's no transparency whatsoever. And because you have marketers that don't know what they don't know,
their
eyes
put
over their eyes.
Exactly. They don't know how to, and this is just a tip because y'all got to pay me for this here advice. A tip, a free tip. If any marketers is in here and y'all acting cute, I don't want to open the mouth and stand up. Cause no matter. A free tip. You need to learn how to read profiles. You need to learn how to read social media profiles. It cannot be that you go on the page, yeah, and you see somebody have 45K followers and go, yeah, this festive, blue tick and everything is nice. And then them post only have 2 comments and 10 likes. Boop! Something is amiss. Something wrong somewhere. And that's on average. On average, it's not like it's just one off post, but on average, your engagement rate is something adding up with your follower count. Something, which is why I say, no, watch follower count, because a lot of it is robots.
But they're not even using any of the tools. So like, I mean, to add to that tip, there are tools that allow you to read Instagram accounts and showcase people's engagement rate, showcase how many of their following is actually real and how many is robots. And then you look and see, is that content, does it align with what you are trying to do? Exactly. And can you work with them and create an initiative that aligns and works for the both of you, right?
Yeah.
Content influencer marketing is a marriage of two. So look at what Terry did with Toyota today, right?
Marriage of two and one person sleeping on the couch.
Yeah.
One person I give you a beer bun. That's what you mean.
Yeah. What she did with Toyota was dope, because it's not even like, she's a car enthusiast, but because of her background with building communities, storytelling, she was able to find all of the corporate responsibility and tie it into her brand. Everything worked. And I'm like, this is Toyota?
Yeah.
But it was a different side of Toyota.
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
the thing is that more brands need to be able to get creative to do that.
Yeah. And some of these dry ass posts want to post in claims on a post for people them things. Don't forget about the people them money. Because let me tell you, and this is the thing, and again, I'm gonna call out Terry Carell because one, we love her over here, and two, the truth is she is doing the damn thing and she's doing it correctly. Terry is a storyteller and she is very good at telling stories and pulling you in. And I still remember a lot of her story. I remember the one about how she learned to say hello in Muslim Mandarin on her way to the event. And I listen to her stories and I hear them and I connect with them.
The little girl who came up to her and told her
ability to tell stories and then connect it to whatever it is that she's selling, promoting, whatever. Sometimes you don't even know that she's promoting something, and that's an art. Selling shit without making people know they're selling shit is an art. And connecting and being relatable is another thing altogether. Right? Some on a dry story post in on a bikini, upon the people them beach, heavily filtered, stuck in on a bed, it look like an old for pass out from lack of air. That is not it. That's not what we're talking about. That's not what we're talking about. So there is an art. There's an art to it. It's a craft. It's a skill that you actually need to develop. Yeah, and that's another thing that people need to focus on. Not everybody gonna have the skill, but it's something that can be developed. And when people are paying you for something, you have to make sure that you're giving them quality and value. Nobody cares about your half-ass looking picture of you on the beach. No, that's not it. Not it.
So, Katie, we have to wrap up. We have to wrap up because time is gonna dwindle down on us. Keron, thank you so much for this amazing conversation. Guys, if you aren't subscribed to the podcast, we talk about only conversations with a lot of people. You need to be subscribed to get in tune with all that we are sharing. Kadiel, thank you for your amazing insights. And boy, it did come out hot tonight.
I feel away.
Big shout out to G5 Cybersecurity for their support and ubiquitous studios.
Next week, let's do a part 2 because there's so much more to talk about.
All right, guys. Thank you. I don't know when we're gonna get cut off, but thank you. See you next week.
Bye, guys.
Whoa.